How can I set clear boundaries and stay empathic? So how can I be clear and put boundaries into the situation and stay empathic, stay warm, stay flexible but clear? How can we do this? This is an issue which appears in many situations, and I see many people who have difficulties in setting boundaries. And I myself had to learn this, and I'm not perfect, not at all. Only later in my years I have learned better to set boundaries, to become clear of the issue of boundaries. Many people are more advanced than I am and are clear to deal with this question, or to have this question, how to set boundaries. Many people already in earlier years are dealing with this issue in a very mature way, looking for ways how to set clear boundaries. For me, this was an issue only later in life, and I've learned some of it, and as mentioned, you never end learning this, and I know where I fail. So I know how difficult this is to be always in a state of mind where you are able to set clear boundaries without being rude or without creating pain on the other side. So let's take a very simple example. You are either at home or at work, and you want to concentrate now, and you have planned to have an hour or two only for yourself to concentrate on what is important. So you have your to-do list, and you have distinguished between urgent matters and important matters. That is an important distinction. We all know that. So you have a list with the important matters, and then you have a long list always with the urgent matters. And normally we start with the urgent matters and we end the day with urgent matters, and we lack to focus more on the important matters because we never find time for them, or at least not enough. So, but now finally you have decided, and you are able, and you arranged your day in such a way that you have 1 or 2 hours to really focus on what is important. And now you get interrupted for whatever reason, be it your children, your partner, your spouse, or at work, some colleagues who come with an urgent issue, which is for them really urgent. They need you for it, but you wanted to concentrate on the important. So how do we react? If we are not in stress, if it is, let's say, in the morning, if we are still in good mood, maybe things is easy and I react in an easy way, I give an answer, and I go back to my issue, my so-called deep work, my important theme or task. But I notice already, and we know also that is the case, if you are interrupted, it can take up to 10 or 20 minutes to go back into the deep work focused modus. So every interruption is not only happening or affecting the time of the interruption, is also affecting the time you get back into what you wanted to do. And that can be quite hard sometimes. So now imagine you get several times interrupted. And then anger comes up. Yeah, you become stressed. You get angry inside. Something is boiling, starting to boil. And then there's another interruption. And all of a sudden you shout and you use words which are not nice. You create pain on the other side. You create misunderstandings or not knowing what is the problem with you. And that is all happening because you are not clear to the others that now you want to focus and concentrate. Of course, now we can argue, okay, let's be clear up front. I think certainly that is a good idea. So either have a sign on your room where you say, door is closed, I'm focusing now for 1 hour, please don't interrupt. Afterwards, I have time for you. That could be a good help. But let's say that is not possible and you are still having a closed door and still the sign, and still people come and interrupt you, or your phone is ringing, whatever. So we are under stress, and what are we doing? How can we keep our peace, our empathic and loving attitude, appreciative attitude, and still being clear? And that is only possible, in my view, if we now use the full human being. It's not enough if I think about it and if I plan for doing it, this and that, and then fail again. It's not enough to only use the head. You have to use the heart, and also you have to use your willing part. So always use thinking, feeling, and willing to effect change for yourself, to change your own behavior. To change your own behavior, you need to make use of your full human potential. Use the fully human, which is thinking, feeling, and willing. And use your body, use your head and your heart and your whole body and your gut to really create change in yourself first, and then in the behavior with others. So, going back to the situation with the interruption and with the anger boiling in you, the only way to disrupt or interrupt the, how is it called in English? The someone interrupts you and you react, yeah? So, in between, there is space. You have to create this space, put energy into this space, and you can do this by doing the following. You go with your consciousness in the area of the heart, and there you breathe a little slower than usual, and you breathe in a way which is comfortable for you. And now you are with your consciousness and your I presence in this heart space. You feel yourself, you feel your body, you feel your breathing because you concentrate on that. You are out of your head. And that is the area where you can be fully present. Now you exercise this at home and you take your time. But in the real situation, you need to exercise or remember what you would like to do. Stay awake. Create that space. For creating that space between, that's the word, stimulus and response. To create that space, you need inner strength, inner energy. So your I presence needs to be strengthened. And you can exercise that in various ways. So let's say you have progress, you have made progress with that. You remember now in the situation, I don't want to immediately react out of my anger. I want to create a space of freedom. I want to make myself conscious. I want to be awake, stay awake. Notice that there is a demand on myself. Notice that I have put myself into a focus situation. I want to do something. I have not planned to follow the demand which comes from others to me. But now I have this moment of freedom to decide, well, do I answer? Do I take some minutes? Or do I clearly explain? Why am I now concentrating? Why am I kindly asking not to be interrupted? So in this space of freedom, I'm more able to choose my words wisely, with empathy, show empathy, understand why the issue of the other person also seems to be important, acknowledge that, and still say and ask for permission to concentrate on your issue and discuss the matter later. It's a very simple example. There are many variations of this, but it shows that the only way to deal with these situations is to first go with the consciousness, with the eye, with the mind into the heart area. Notice your breathing, notice your body. Notice that here is the space where you feel comfortable. This is your home space. This is the space where you are fully present. And out of this presence, with inner strength and energy, you create this space between stimulus and response. And you create a moment of freedom where you are free to decide how to react. And if we now look at the inner leader, which is the I, which leads thinking, feeling, and willing. These are three areas which we can talk a lot about, three different areas in our soul which we need to lead, which we need to guide, in order not to be overwhelmed by our own emotions. Because when we are angry, when we are boiling with anger because of someone says something to us or interrupts us, then we are not in leadership of our emotions, but our emotions take over and they lead us. And this is always the case when you are not fully awake, because then you just react, and afterwards maybe you say to yourself, was not so good, created some pain, I have to apologize, I have to heal the pain in myself, in others. So it's all extra work, extra energy. So this moment of freedom between stimulus and response is, in my understanding, the only way to be able to set clear boundaries. And clarity means transparency. So explain to the others, at best, upfront, why you are now wanting to concentrate and having 1 hour without interruptions. It's only an example. You can take other examples. But clarity means, being clear means being transparent. And being transparent means you explain why you are deciding, why you are wanting, why you are asking others to now respect that you are for 1 or 2 hours not available for the others. So that is the clarity aspect. And the other aspect is the empathy. And the empathy is not an emotion of anger, is an elevated emotion, is up the ladder of the emotions. So it's not down into anger and afterwards shame and guilt and necessary healing. No, that is going down the ladder of the emotions. Going up the ladder of emotions is to consciously enter the heart space and choose for an appreciative emotion, for gratitude, for peace, for love, for compassion. One of those, or some combined together of those, that creates a certain peacefulness in yourself. It gives you energy instead of dragging energy through anger. So these positive, more, let's say, energetic or energy-giving emotions, they create this state of mind, state of heart, which is then enabling you to open the space up between stimulus and response and react with empathy. So how can I set clear boundaries with empathy? is really to work with yourself, to train your inner leader, which is your I, which somehow starts within thinking. So your willing within thinking becomes stronger. With this, you call upon your I and you exercise this strength by going gently from the head into the heart and feel that you are there. Call upon a energy giving emotion like appreciation or gratitude, and immediately you feel better. And with exercise you can do this within seconds, within part seconds even, in the moment, and the other person doesn't need to notice what you are doing inside. You call upon yourself, you are awake, you create this space between stimulus and response, and you react in a conscious way, in a way you would like to react when you look upon the situation from your higher self, or from your best version of yourself. And yeah, it sounds so easy, but in daily life we often forget it. Our energy is not strong enough. We are energy depleted because of lots of stress. And that makes it so difficult to stay awake in such stressful situations. So I hope I could give you some ideas how to set clear boundaries with empathy. Thank you for listening.